CBD is being used more and more in the medical world to help dementia patients, people with seizures. It can even calm your pet during a storm. And now a Florida woman is using it in another unique way. Here's Hallie Pilot.
Susan Shear is an oncology nurse who says tragedy struck in her family last year.
My husband passed away unexpectedly on the 27th of September.
Then at a networking event, she met Matt Eastman, the owner of Lickety Splits Ice Cream.
His wife was a pediatric oncology nurse at one point, and we started talking about cancer patients. And I said, can you make me an ice cream that's high in fat and high in protein for my cancer patients?
And then asked another question.
What do you think about adding cannabis?
That's how Heavenly Hash Creamery was born.
I thought heaven, my husband, Heavenly Hash Creamery.
The ice cream comes with a 20, 40, or 60 milligram serving of hemp-derived CBD. There's no detected level of THC, which gets you high. But Shear says explaining that isn't always easy.
And it's interesting because no one will ask the pharmaceutical industry to give them an ingredient list of everything that's in those drugs, but yet people tear apart CBD because they don't know any better.
Despite that obstacle, the Heavenly Hash ice cream in all its 7 flavors is now available in 30 retail locations.
We developed flavors that were high in lemon and blueberry to stimulate the salivary glands in patients that didn't have anything left over after radiation and chemo.
She says the high protein and high fat helps patients keep the weight on to get through those rough treatments. It does have sugar because, well, it's ice cream. But Shear says the CBD lowers blood sugar levels.
It's an anti-inflammatory. It rebuilds the mitochondria and cells, so it actually helps with cell growth. It's an antioxidant.
She says those are just some benefits of CBD, the driving force behind her own scoop of heaven on earth.
My husband was in a lot of pain before he passed away and had issues that he dealt with, and so to think that his passing actually led to something that could help so many people is really rewarding.
Supporters of CBD say that it can help with a wide range of aches and pains. Up next, it's